What's poppin' YouTube, and welcome to my channel, Astro Finesse. It's your boy Lil Finesse, Jiggy Hippie, back with another video for y'all. And in this video right here is if your Lilith sign, if your Lilith is in a sign of Gemini or the third house. And I'll pause for the cause. If you don't know how to find your Lilith sign, if you don't know about learning about yourself through astrology and numerology, if you're a new subscriber, if you're just starting off your spiritual journey of self-love, self-knowledge, if you don't understand how important, drastically, urgently important it is that you have to study yourself through astrology or numerology. If nobody put you on yet, it's not your fault, but don't worry, I got you. There's a couple of videos, I'll put the link in the description. You have to watch them first to become hip to the knowledge of what I'm about to talk about right now. So if you look at your birth chart or your natal chart, it's the same thing. And you realize that your Lilith is in Gemini or the third house, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's just get it popping, shall we? And before I even start everything, I have my Lilith in Gemini, but it's in the 9th house. So it's also very important to know where your Lilith is, like what sign it's in, and to also know what house it's in. That's why it's good to look at your chart and to study it. But you already know how I feel when it comes to me talking about my placements. It's like me exposing myself to the whole world, but for the betterment of humanity, yada yada, I gotta do this. So let's just get it popping. Anyway, so before I start, I'm gonna give y'all a list of some celebrities so y'all can visually see what Lilith and Gemini people look like and act like in reality. And then I'm gonna give y'all a list of some celebrities of Lilith in the third house celebrities. What? I'm gonna give y'all a list of some celebrities that have Lilith in the third house. So to start, we got your boy Drizzy Drake, Megan Fox, Mariah Carey, Kendall Jenner, Lindsay Lohan, Muhammad Ali, rest in peace, Shia LaBeouf, Kendrick Lamar, Edgar Allan Poe, Tom Brady, Solange Knowles, and Cassie. And now these are the celebrities that have Lilith in the third house. We got Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Cristiano Ronaldo, your boy Chris Brown, Adele, Denzel Washington, Maya Angelou, and your boy Steph Curry. Alright, so boom, Lilith in Gemini or Lilith in the third house. So to start, I gotta give y'all, for those that have never heard of Lilith, that don't know what it represents in the chart, I have to explain to y'all what Lilith means, where she came from. Now, this is gonna be from ancient mythology. And mythologies are myths. Myths are stories that you don't really take exactly what happened as in like this is exactly what happened, because there's definitely different renditions of it, it comes from different origins, different ways of saying this story. But you're supposed to take the symbolisms, what it represents, and that's what you're supposed to take from these myths and mythology stories. So now the ancient mythology, these are myths right now. Don't take me seriously as this literally happened exactly how I said it, but the mythology, the myths of where the Lilith came from, gotta take y'all way back in the Maybach to the beginning of life, beginning of creation with Adam and Eve. Before Adam and Eve, Lilith was the first wife of Adam. Adam was made from dirt from the ground. Lilith was also made from the dirt from the ground. So they were both equally the same. Now, that's Adam's first wife. So living in the Garden of Eden, living in paradise, everything was Gucci, everything was good. And then when it came to sex, however, you know, Adam being the man wanted to always be masculine, wanted always to dominate during sex, wanted to always be on top. And Lilith, her mindset was, we're both made from the dirt from the ground, we're both equal. Why do I always have to be submissive to you when it comes to sex? Why do I always have to be under you? Why do I always have to be second? I'll also want to dominate. I also want to be on top sometimes. She also wanted to express her sexuality the way that she wanted to, freely, without being judged, without being shunned. She wanted to be equally dominant the same way Adam is. And now Adam, being the man, did not like that. And Lilith, being how she was, she did not like always being submissive like that when it comes to sex. So because of this, she got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. She got shunned. She got rejected from the Garden of Eden. And then out of the rib from Adam became Eve. So now instead of Adam and Lilith being both equally the same, being both made from the dirt from the ground, Adam and Eve being made from the same body became one, like a yin and yang, masculine and feminine. So it became one. So now Lilith right now, she got kicked out. She went to the darker side of life, the darker side of the world. So she started having sexual relations with like the demons, and she had like relations with like the devil and all that. So she was like in a darker side of life. And because of this, she was really because she got rejected, she was really angry. She had like pent up anger in her. She wanted revenge. She just was really, she's like a really dark revengeful character. And because of this, she wanted to get revenge back from Adam. So some stories say she came back as a serpent, talking to Eve like, Eve, you don't have to listen. You could do what you want. You should eat from the tree of life. You don't have to be submissive all the time. You could do what you want, like trying to get back at Adam for kicking her out. So she came back as a serpent to try to lure Eve into not listening, not being submissive, not being that feminine energy kind of thing. So that's where the Lilith story, that's what Lilith represents. That's where the mythological story of Lilith came from. Now, understand that the Lilith energy is represented by the darkness, the revengeful side of sexual liberation, but like the dark side of life in a way. So in your birth chart, Lilith represents your shadow side, represents your dark side of yourself. Now, having a Lilith in Gemini, understand that you're going to be carrying out the darker traits of Gemini, the darker traits of the Gemini characteristic. Now, before I went on my spiritual journey, before I am who I am right now, I was living like a very low frequency, very dark energy. So I carried out a lot of these dark traits. But as I started doing my self-love, self-knowledge, as I raised my vibration, I don't carry out as much of the dark traits of Gemini Lilith. But understand that these traits is not permanent. It's not like who you are, like it's what it is. But as you work on yourself and as you're aware of your chart, as you're aware of who you are, you could be aware of the characteristics and how to, like, you know, try to do the opposite of it and try not to carry out the negative traits so much. But astrology saved my life. All this like spiritual work definitely saved my life. This is why I like doing what I do, so I could bring awareness to this, so I can help people the same way astrology helped me. So boom, Gemini Lilith. So you're going to be carrying out the dark energy of Gemini traits. So what does this mean? Now, we already know Gemini is a master of communication. So you're going to be really good at speaking. You're going to be really good with your words. Now, having a Gemini Lilith or Lilith in the third house, you're going to be living in like a darker area, like the darkness when it comes to your words. Meaning you could be very manipulative with your words. You could be very like mischievous. You could be very cunning. And you could usually tell a lot of lies a lot with your words. You could be living in the darker side of Gemini. So you could be using your words to influence people to do negative. You could be using your words to tell people to do things you want to do, like to really try to get in somebody's head using your words. And you could be susceptible to lying a lot too. So keep that in mind, that having this placement, you could be prone to just saying like little white lies for no reason. You could be prone to like being obsessed with trying to get information a lot, just to be smart, trying to get a lot of information, just to feel like you're the smart person in the room. But understand that you could be really, really manipulative with your words. Like, words are very powerful with this placement. So even though you're really good at communicating, be aware that you could be really living in the dark. If you're living a low frequency, like a low vibration, you could lie a lot for no reason. You could just tell people to do things for no reason, just to see how they react. You could just say things to get a reaction out of people. You could just say things to start gossip for no reason, and then cover your mouth like you didn't do that, like you didn't do nothing. But at the same time, you started whatever you started, like the gossip. So you could be really prone to getting in people's heads with your word. You could be really prone to hurting people too with your words. So understand that communication is A1. But the way that you communicate and the intentions of your communications is key when it comes to this placement. So having Lilith in Gemini, you're going to be attracting a lot of people too. That can be prone to gossiping a lot about you too. That could be prone to being two-faced. You can also be very two-faced as well. And I'll say like way back in the Maybach, when I was in my younger years, before I was on my spiritual journey, definitely I could see how like this plays out in my life. Like I definitely was the type to just say things to see the reactions. I didn't understand how powerful words were in a way. I definitely was the type to just say little white lies, like to cover my mouth, just to cover like what I did wrong, just to cover myself up. You just say little white lies like that. But really understanding your chart, really understanding your energy, really working on yourself, really loving yourself, and knowing that the way you treat people is how you feel about yourself on the inside will definitely change your perspective on life in a way. So understand that having Lilith in Gemini, you could be very prone to treating people and hurting people like tremendously with what you say, and how to get in their head and trying to do, you say you're gonna do something and then you won't do it, or you're gonna say something and feel completely different or completely opposite of what you're saying. You could be like, two-faced in a way, very gossipy like that. And also remember, Lilith, she was rejected, so you could have a lot of repressed energy too with this placement. So with this placement, you can also be prone to, like, if you're in a room, you could be prone to being afraid to express yourself. It's like it's all about extremes. It's either you're really on one side of the spectrum or the other side of the spectrum. You could be either extremely gossipy, extremely chatty, extremely manipulative, extremely using your words to hurt people and like swords. Or you could be the type that could be afraid to express yourself, afraid to talk, because you're afraid to come off like you're not intelligent. You could be afraid to come off like you're not smart, so you just won't say nothing. And I could attest to this too, like way back in like high school or whatever. Like I could be in class and I know the answer to the question, or somebody's talking and I know I have something intelligent to say, but because like I was afraid that I might come off like not smart, or I'm afraid I might stutter or something like that, I would just not say nothing. And you could be like, just close yourself off and shut yourself off completely, because you don't want to come off like unintelligent, so you just won't say nothing. So it's either you're using your words, using your communication to manipulate, or you're just going to completely shut yourself off, completely shut your communication off, and you don't want to express yourself at all because you're afraid to come off like not intelligent. With this placement, you could be obsessed with trying to get information all the time, wanting to be extremely intelligent. You could be the type to always want to try something new. You don't care what it is. You always want to try something new just to have a story to tell at the end. Like you could just be prone to always wanting to be very curious about trying something new, but just trying anything. You're not caring what it is, just to be able to say you did it or have a story at the end too. So understand that having a Gemini Lilith or Lilith in the third house, all in all, to just really remember all in all, that understand how important it is to know the intentions of what you're saying when you're speaking to people, especially in dating too. When you're dating somebody, understand that you really want to have pure intentions when you're trying to deal with people in relationships, because the words that come out your mouth, having a Gemini Lilith, is very powerful. It could manipulate, it could change somebody's perspective, it could influence somebody to do something that you want them to do. You could really get in people's heads by what you say. So understand that the words are very powerful. So if you're in relationships with people, really be careful about how you go about dealing with them, because you could really hurt them on a really deep level in the long run if you're not aware of your energy, of what you are, who you are, and like why you do what you do in a way. So understand that. Really be careful about the manipulation with this placement. Really be careful about the mischievousness, if that's the word, being so mischievous, being so like sneaky a little bit, being so low key in a way that you just want to be like, you say something and you sit back and watch what happens, or you just like start some shit, start some gossip and then sit back just to see how people react. It's like you could be like just sneaky like that in a way, because remember, Lilith represents the dark energy, the dark shadow side of ourselves, the dark shadow side of our energy. We all have a light side and a dark side of ourselves. What your purpose in life is to try to vibrate as high as possible, so you can really be aware of your dark side and know how to carry it out, know how to not bring it out so much, know how to understand your intentions when you're speaking to people. It's all about vibrating as high as you can, so you could be aware that how you treat people is how you feel about yourself in the inside. I'm gonna keep saying this. Really understand that how you treat people, what you say to people, how you view people in your head, and how you just like how you treat people is how you feel about yourself on the inside. So if you're trying to manipulate people all the time, if you're trying to gossip all the time, if you're trying to be like that kind of person, understand that that's because you don't really know who you are on the inside, or you're not stable within yourself on the inside, that you always want to stir up some drama, stir up some gossip, stir up some bullshit basically. So really keep in mind that the words that come out your mouth, having a Lilith in Gemini or a Lilith in the third house, is powerful and strong. Use your communication skills not to manipulate people, not to hurt people, not to start gossip, not to lie. Like you could say little white lies all the time, not to lie all the time. Just understand that the words that come out your mouth is very powerful. Don't just waste it by using your own for your own personal gain, for your own personal like agenda kind of thing. But use your words to influence people, to do good. To use your words to influence people, to help themselves. Just use your words to raise vibrations of the universe instead of being so stuck in the dark shadow side of Lilith, being so stuck in the dark areas of this placement and using it for darkness, using it for your own personal intention, not using it to better humanity. Understand how powerful, I'm gonna keep stressing this, how powerful your words are having a Lilith in Gemini. Use this knowledge to your advantage to know, all right, so damn, so I really have a way of speaking to people. I really have a way of communicating with people. I have a way of manipulating people in a way. I have a way of knowing how to get in people's heads. I have a way of knowing how to maneuver and be mischievous and mysterious in a way like that. So understanding that I treat people how I feel about myself on the inside. Go about life treating people how you feel about yourself on the inside. If you don't love yourself, you're going to be treating people like, you're going to be manipulating people. You're going to be treating people negatively. If you love yourself, if you're on a spiritual journey, if you're vibrating on a high vibration, you'll be treating people the same way you treat yourself on the inside. So it's very important to understand that Lilith is the dark side of yourself. This video is kind of negative because it's negativity when it comes to darkness, because Lilith is not like a positive sign or anything, but it's the truth. It has to happen. It has to come out. But it's all about understanding this is inside yourself and knowing how to control it, because we have free will. We could do what we want. So having knowledge of yourself helps you maneuver and finesse your way through life in the way that you can help people in the long run. It's all about helping each other in the long run. So that's my video on Gemini Lilith. I hope y'all enjoyed that. My next video is going to be on Lilith in Cancer. You already know I'm about to go in. If you have subscribed to my channel, appreciate y'all for real. I just hit 15K. That was a big goal of mine. Appreciate y'all. You already know I'm not going to stop. We're going to keep growing. If you haven't subscribed yet though, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go ahead and handle that one time for your boy. Drink your water, mind your business, and be safe out here. It's your boy Lil Finesse, your Jiggy Hippie. I'ma see all y'all when I see y'all. Peace.